Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another ride. Do you hear that laughter in the background? We got a lovely lady all the way from Hatton Garden / Chelsea / Clapham / Harrow, and she's going to be...
/ Wandsworth now.
Thank you, / Wandsworth. She's in my territory of the woods. Oh, I shouldn't let that slip. But anyway, she's been asking me a load of questions, so I decided to do something reverse today, and that is just she's going to get to ask me questions. And I'm going to have to answer honestly and openly so you can learn something about the host. So nice to have you here today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Nikki.
Nikki, nice to have you here, Nikki.
Thank you.
So Nikki, before we get started, tell us a bit about yourself.
So, like I was telling you, I'm originally from Northwest London. Been living in South London for the last 5 years now. Moved because of work, because I work in Chelsea. And I really love living in South London, actually. Been in jewellery, but been in the jewellery trade pretty much all my life.
Okay.
Maybe since 2006, 7-ish.
Really?
Yeah. So studied jewellery, learnt how to design and make jewellery, graduated, tried to get a job in the industry. Wasn't as easy as it seems.
Why wasn't it as easy as it?
I thought I was meant to be asking you questions.
I know, but I'm intrigued about you're going to answer me questions.
So the jewellery trade, the way it works is that when you learn how to make jewellery, let's say, or even design, but let's base it on making, there's lots of different things that are, that you need to learn about. So you need to learn how to make a piece of jewellery, which is called mounting. So you need to learn how to, when you see a design, you need to know how you're going to make the piece and how you're going to make the piece. Then you need to learn how to, if there was like diamonds involved or gemstones, whatever, you need to know how to make the collets, the mounts for the stones involved. And then you need to know how to set the stones as well. Because you can't, but this is the thing, at university they teach you a little bit of everything: how to make, how to set, how to polish, how to do a bit of engraving. But when you come out in the real world, you're meant to be a master of one trade, not all trades, because that's when you have people that have actually been an apprentice for like 5-10 years and only learnt one trade. Mm-hmm. So the difficulty that I found was I knew a bit of everything, but I didn't really know everything. So it's quite difficult to get a job when you're just like, I know a bit of this and I know a bit of that, but really you don't know everything.
So if you could do it all again, or you're advising another person, what would you advise them?
I would definitely say pick one skill that really interests you, whether it's engraving, setting, polishing, whatever it is, and then just go and be a master at that and just go and do an apprenticeship in doing that and purely focusing on that skill only.
So when you say apprenticeship, forget the degree, is that correct? And
definitely.
You just do it.
Yeah.
So you could have saved yourself 27 grand, but
plus, yeah, even more. Yeah, definitely. Because that interest keeps going up every year, and so you don't actually feel like you're paying it off, to be honest.
So what's your specialism now?
So I do jewellery production. So I manage all the jewellery production. So we have, the company that I work for, we have workshops in Hatton Garden, and so we start off with a design, and I'll take it to the right person who I think is the right person to make that piece, and then it follows on. So if it, again, like I was saying, if it needs setting involved, go to the setter. If I need to get some gemstones, I'll go to gemstone dealer, diamond dealer, and then just take it along with the production plan. And I manage the whole production, so okay. I'm making sure that everything is going in time. Everything is everything is in the right process, and it is what it's meant to be looking like.
So you know all the right people.
I do, yeah. Well, I think I do, yeah. Yeah,
well, you must do if you're. This goes to Susie, that goes to Bob, this goes to Kevin. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? So everybody, you have a good relationship with everybody.
I do, and that's very important in this trade.
And you're a people person.
I am.
Oh. That's interesting. Do you ever look at it and think, I would love to just been like the designer, or would love to have just been the...
I think there was a time where I was like that. I think there was a time where because when you go to university, they actually set you up to learn how to do everything to then essentially have your own business. But again, you can't be the designer, the maker. You can't. Like, I think in the real world, in reality, it just doesn't work like that. I think even people that have, you know, set up their own business and come with, you know, lots and lots of money and that can put it into their business, you can maybe be the designer, but you always need to rely on someone to do something for you. You just can't do everything, otherwise you'd never get a piece of jewelry made. So I think what I've learned over the years is I've done a bit of everything. I've worked in workshops, I've made jewelry, I've worked in retail shops, I've sold jewelry. I've learned so much, and I think what I really enjoy doing is just managing the production of jewelry, because I know how things are meant to be made because I've done it myself. So I know how to find the right people and what work to give to the right people.
Would you say you're always learning though, every day?
Always. Definitely always. And that's what I love about this trade, because you get to meet new people, new mounters that specialize in making different kinds of jewelry or setting in different kinds of way. So, and it's so intriguing because you're always like, oh, how did you do this, and or how would you do that, and you learn things all the time. I still learn things. I wouldn't say I know everything, because I don't think anyone knows everything.
Okay, that's really interesting. Building relationships. How do you build relationships? Because I was told by another lady when I interviewed her, she has her own. She like facilitates around Hatton Gardens.
Right.
I think she's a craftsman. I'm not sure what she called herself. It's on one of the
mounter.
Yeah, maybe it's a mounter.
Yeah.
But how do you build these relationships? And obviously there's a big trust element, because you're giving someone a diamond to go and mount it. It's not yours, it's somebody else's.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these people come recommended, which is helpful. And then I think it's just really trial and error, because you wouldn't give someone, I mean, there have been times where I have given a big diamond to somebody and been like, make this ring, and you just trust them and it comes out great, or it doesn't come out great. But in terms of trusting, I mean, I think because most people come recommended, you'd know that they wouldn't, you know, try and swindle you in any way or do anything, or just, I don't know, it's just everyone. It's even with like the diamonds and the gemstones and whatever that you borrow, they go on a thing called APRO. So you, from the company that you're borrowing them, they give them to you, they let you borrow them to show a client, to show the jeweler to see if it's going to work in a piece of jewelry, and then if it doesn't, you give them back. And again, that's all based on trust as well, because they need to know that they need to be able to trust you, really. And I think that you just pick that up. I think when you start getting to know someone, I think you just, you know, you just have this gut feeling that they're okay and you can trust them, and you're going to use them and you're going to continue working for them, and that's how you essentially build a relationship.
You spoke about if something goes wrong. How do you address things when something goes wrong and it's like, oh, that's not quite fitting right, or that doesn't match the design?
Quite interesting, because that does happen quite a lot.
Is it?
It does, yeah, because sometimes what you think you have in mind, or when you show a design to somebody, they have if it's not a design where you can see it in every angle, they might make it in a certain way from a different angle, and it's not what you kind of envisioned or what the designer would have had envisioned. Again, I think I mean, I have to deal with this all the time on a daily basis, and I think the best way to is just stay calm, knowing that it's only jewelry at the end of the day. It's only a bit of metal, it's only a bit of, I know it's high value, but it's not something, it's salvageable. You can sort it out. You can always repair something.
Oh, melt it down and do it again.
You can that's an option.
But if they cut the diamond, do you cut the diamonds as well?
No. I buy the diamonds from a diamond dealer. Don't cut them. But I mean, if you damage a stone, you can polish that damage out. There's, you know,
okay.
It's not ideal, because sometimes it takes off the carat weight off a stone. But
okay,
it's happened. The worst thing is that, I mean, I was going to say between you and me, but it's not really between you and me. But a lot of people in Hatton Garden don't have insurance because they're self-employed, so they don't.
No public liability insurance.
Yeah, they don't really take on that responsibility. So again, it's on trust. I mean, saying that we've had setters that have damaged stones, and then we have to claim on insurance to replace that stone.
Do you deal with that setter again? Do they get
Yeah.
blacklisted, or do you just say, listen,
Some do.
you need to sort out your relationship with your wife, because normally normally you got it, it's right, but I
Yeah,
can see
normally you're better at this.
Yeah.
A couple of times we've had to. I don't think it's on that basis though. I think I can move on with something like that and be like, okay, I trust that this is not going to happen again. I think you let go of people when they start messing you around, where they're not meeting their deadlines, deadline dates, and especially in this trade is very important because majority of the time
weddings,
it's
all those
always
things,
an occasion, it's always a birthday gift or some sort of gift, and that is the client then trusting us that we're going to meet that deadline date. So you essentially work backwards, and I have to make sure that everyone that's a part of this process is going to meet their deadline date, and if they don't, I need to slowly start divorcing them.
Okay. And how does that go? Because they may have bad blood. They're like,
Oh God. I mean, sometimes it doesn't end well, but sometimes I think they appreciate the honesty. I think if you say to them that, look, I've given you many chances and you've let me down, especially with deadline dates, I think they do understand, and you might fall out with them, but sometimes you can go back to them. I've a couple of years later, I've had to go back to certain people and been like, do you want to work for us, and shall we
rekindle our
yeah,
relationship?
I think, yeah, you have to.
Are you ready to start doing things properly?
Yeah.
And how does that work? Do they say, go away? Or they say, actually...
Majority of the times, yeah, they'll be like, yeah, okay, fine, let's try this again. Majority of the times they do, yeah.
I suppose that relationship is going to be quite solid, because you could say, listen, guys, let's not have a repeat of what we had.
Definitely.
You can do this. Let's just do what we're meant to do, hit the deadlines, and...
Yeah, well, a big chunk of my job is reassuring people that they can do it. And I think when they get that reassurance, it just gives them that confidence to be able to meet that deadline, or to be able to do whatever tricky situation that they've got to do, whether it's making the piece of jewellery, setting the stone, or whatever it is they have to do. And it's always giving them that reassurance, and always trying to make sure you're not stressing somebody out as well, because you can't, even if you're stressed with whatever you've got going on, if I could be stressed with something else that's gone wrong in another workshop, I can't then take that to somebody else, because you feel that straight away. You do. I would feel it straight away, and then they immediately think, oh my God, I can't do this now. I feel I'm too under pressure. I can't do this. I can't do that. And they then think, when they know they can do the job, but they just immediately think, I'm not going to be able to do it, or it just messes up, and because they're under that pressure. So I think it's so important to reassure them on a daily basis that they can do it, and that's what I have to do every single day. But I don't mind it. I love it, because I have so much trust with the people that I work with. I know that I can rely on them, and I know that they're going to get the job done. Don't get me wrong, there's times where it doesn't happen, but it doesn't mean that you just cut them out. You have to give them another chance, and sometimes there's personal things that people are going through, and you kind of have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, so you're a bit like HR as well, HR of the diamond world, and the jewellers world. 2 questions.
Go on.
What's the most valuable, priceless piece of jewellery you've dealt with? And I've forgotten a second, but let's just stick on that question now.
I think it was a tiara.
What's a tiara?
A tiara is like a mini version of a crown, almost.
Okay. What, like those beauty queens wear?
Yeah.
I'm the most beautiful one.
Like what you see in beauty pageants. It was a tiara that belonged to some sort of earl of something. I don't know. I actually don't know. Someone I think even towards royalty. That had like lots of diamonds and big and small diamonds, lots of work involved, lots of money involved. I think that's probably the most sort of valuable piece I've personally dealt with.
Obviously, we've come through COVID, there's been Brexit, they talk about the cost of living and all of that. Is the jewellery industry a good business to be in still? Still people still buying or wanting it to bling out?
That's a good question. I've not seen, I've not seen people sort of cut down in buying jewellery. I think it's, in fact, it's gone busier, which is strange because you wouldn't think that jewellery is a necessity and jewellery isn't something that you really need in your life or need to buy. But where I work, I feel like it's not changed at all, to be honest. And in fact, if we go back to COVID, the minute the lockdowns finished, especially the first lockdown, it was mental. I personally feel like it's not quieting down since COVID. It's just been busy. Maybe that's because so many events and weddings and whatever have been delayed. So, there's more people trying to get more things done. I haven't seen a change, if I'm being honest. I don't know how I have no idea what's going to happen in a couple of months' time where, these bills really do come through and everyone's paying higher electricity and high this, high that. I don't know if that's going to change. I think it'll be quite good to see what Christmas holds as well, because Christmas is the busiest season. But as of now, I haven't seen the change, no.
Did you say how much the tiara was worth?
Maybe... I actually don't know, but I want to say maybe around $250,000.
Okay, so it's like a flat.
It's like a flat, yeah.
Okay.
It's like a one-bed flat, yeah.
Well, my other question is, obviously there's loads of jewellery and gold and all of those things in the Hatton Gardens area. Security. Do you think security is enough, and has security been upgraded? Because we hear of things on the news, the radio, and various different things.
I think the security's definitely been upgraded in Hatton Garden. Is it tight enough? I don't think so, because you still hear things that happen. You still hear of, robberies and stuff like that happen. The thing is, I don't know, they just, all the security guards that stand out in Hatton Garden, they just can't, there's just no way of keeping an eye on everything that happens in every single building in the garden. So I don't expect any less. I mean, I think it is tighter, but I don't really know how that reflects on what's still going on, because things do still go on, and
What's your overall goal for you? The future. What does the future hold for you?
I really like I love what I do. I'm not going to lie, and I think me potentially, I just see myself, even if it's not working for the company I work for, maybe working for another company, but being the head of production for that company, but maybe a bigger company, and having more people involved, having probably more responsibility, working alongside more jewelers, more people in the industry. It's, in terms of the job that I do, I love what I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I think after being in the industry for all these years, I can definitely say that I found my feet and I'm doing what I love doing.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
And we wish you well.
Thank you so much.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.